Now, a new national police hub is being set up to help track down online trolls responsible for hate crime online and people who post abusive content on social media. We know it's out there. We know there's quite a lot of it. There's been an increase in these types of reports after the EU referendum last year and earlier this year around the time of the terrorist attacks in the UK. Let's talk to comedian Kate Smurthwaite, who's here. And you've had your fair share of trolling, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been receiving internet abuse for about 10 years, and it's escalated over that period of time, kind of sometimes gradually, and then other times I'll do a particular TV appearance or a particular subject that seems to hit a kind of sore point with the kind of people who do this kind of thing, and suddenly there's a step up and a ramp up, and it never really ever goes back to the old way.
But in this modern world, I mean, you are known for being, you can be quite outspoken. You know, you've got your staunch views and you stick to them, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But
woman has opinions. Well, stop press. Yeah, I know.
But
and it's absolutely fair to say.
Do you therefore expect some sort of retaliation?
I mean, of course, whenever you go out and you have an opinion, you expect someone to say, I disagree with you, and I think you're wrong for this reason. I mean, and I would never describe anything like that as abuse, but I'm talking about, stuff that comes over that is specifically using aggressively sexist language, that is rape threats, that is death threats, that is all of this kind of stuff. And to be honest, you win no arguments by responding to people in that kind of extremely personal way. So it's not about continuing the debate. If people have a difference of opinion, well, you know, they can put it out there. I'm not one to refuse to come and have that conversation. So it's definitely not about that.
What astounds me in all this, I mean, and this hub hopefully will reduce this to an extent and make people more aware of the consequences of what they say. But what astounds me is that when people are given a platform to speak to people they see on TV, that these opinions are actually out there to begin with. These levels of violence, even if it is only in terms of language, it's still very threatening.
No, it's fascinating, isn't it? It's something like 50 years since Germaine Greer said women have very little idea how much men hate them. Well, thank you, Twitter. Message received. And yeah, it is absolutely terrifying that these attitudes are out there. And in a sense, I think we should be grateful to the internet, because I think we're better off knowing what's out there than kind of living in this rather sort of wallpapered world of, like, you know, we only say nice, polite things. I think it's better that we know that these attitudes are out there, and then we can challenge them and acknowledge them.
Is it fair to say, because anyone can get abuse and get trolled online, but are women more prone to it? Women with a voice?
Yeah, all the evidence says that women get disproportionately large amounts. If you look at, there's a piece of research about MPs getting abuse in the run-up to the election, and they identified something like 900,000 pieces of internet abuse in the run-up to the last election, and 45% of them went to Diane Abbott, which tells you that it's along racial lines and it's along gender lines. You know, people are being very, very kind of clear. And it's interesting because this new initiative that's been set up will challenge, hate speech online, and that includes race, it includes religion, it includes disability, it includes sexuality, it includes gender identity. It doesn't include being a woman. So in actual fact, 99% of the stuff that I get, this is not going to even help with. And I mean, in fairness, it's a tiny little initiative. It's what, £200,000. There's obviously no way that you're going to solve a significant proportion of it. That said, I mean, I welcome anything, and of course, all those other characteristics should be defended. And the fact that something is being done, I think is really significant, just in terms of the message that it sends out. Because if there are people at home about to hit the send button, they've gotten into a rage, they've typed it all in capital letters, and they've got their finger on the send button. Hopefully, the knowledge that something is being done, however, at this stage we have no idea how effective it's going to be, but the knowledge that there is a sort of pushback against it, hopefully that sends a message that, hang on, I could get in trouble for this, let's not send it.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
That's also Kate. Good to talk to you.
You too.
Thank you. Would love your thoughts on that this morning at Sky Stephen. If you want to be abusive, don't bother.